Hello everyone, my name is Michael, and today I'm reading the YouTube Terms of Service. The Terms of Service is available in multiple languages. Today we will be reading the English version. What are in these terms? The index before us is designed to help you understand some of the key updates we made to our Terms of Service terms. This is YouTube, not me. We hope this serves as a useful guide, but please ensure you read the terms in full. We will do so now. Welcome to YouTube. This section outlines our relationship with you. It includes a description of the service, defines our agreement, and names your service provider. Welcome to YouTube. Introduction. Thank you for using the YouTube platform and the products, services, and features we make available to you as part of the platform, collectively, the service. Our service. The service allows you to discover, watch, and share videos and other content, provides a forum for people to connect, inform, and inspire others across the globe, and acts as a distributed platform for original content creators and advertisers large and small. We provide lots of information about our products and how to use them in our help center. Among other things, you can find out about YouTube Kids, the YouTube Partner Program, and the YouTube paid memberships and purchases where available. You could also read all about enjoying content on other devices like your television, your games consoles, or Google Home. Your service provider. The entity providing the service is Google LLC, a company operating under the laws of Delaware, located at 1600 Amphitheater Parkway, Mountain View, California, 94043, referred to us as YouTube, we, or USRR. References to YouTube's affiliates in these terms mean the other companies within the Alphabet Incorporation, corporate group, now or in the future. Applicable terms. Your use of service is subject to these terms, the YouTube community guidelines, and the policy, safety, and copyright policies, which may be updated from time to time. Together, this agreement. Your agreement with us will also include the advertising on YouTube policies if you provide advertising or sponsorships to the service or incorporate paid promotions in your content. Any other links or references provided in these terms are for informational use only and are not part of the agreement. Please read this agreement carefully and make sure you understand it. If you do not understand the agreement or do not accept any part of it, you may not use the service. Keep that in mind as we continue to read the terms of service. Who may use the service? This section sets out certain requirements for our use of service and defines categories of users. Who may use the service? Age requirements. You must be at least 13 years old to use the service. However, children of all ages may use the service and YouTube Kids where available if enabled by a parent or legal guardian. Permission by parent or guardian. If you are under 18, you represent that you have your parent or guardian's permission to use the service. Please have them read this agreement with you. Oh yeah. When I was under 18, I definitely had my parents read me the terms of service. If you are a parent or legal guardian of a user under the age of 18, by allowing your child to use the service, you are subject to the terms of this agreement and responsible for your child's activity on the service. You can find tools and resources to help you manage your family's experience on YouTube, including how to enable a child under the age of 13 to use the service and YouTube Kids, in our Help Center and through Google's Family link. Businesses. If you're using the service on behalf of a company or organization, you represent you have the authority to act on behalf of that entity, and such entity accepts this agreement. Your use of service. This section explains your rights to use the service and the conditions that apply to your use of the service. It also explains how we may make changes to the service. Oh boy, here we go. Content on the service. The content on the service includes video, audio, for example music and other sounds, graphics, photos, text such as comments and scripts, branding including trade names, trademarks, service marks, or logos, interactive features, software, metrics, and other materials whether provided by you, YouTube, or a third-party collectively content. Content is the responsibility of the person or entity that provides it to the service. YouTube is under no obligation to host or serve content. If you see any content that you believe does not apply with this agreement, including by violating the community guidelines or the law, you could report it to us. Google accounts and YouTube channels. You can use parts of the service, such as browsing and searching for content, without having a Google account. However, you do need a Google account to use some features. With a Google account, you may be able to like videos, subscribe to channels, create your own YouTube channel, and more. You can follow these instructions to create a Google account. Creating a YouTube channel will give you additional features and functions, such as uploading videos, making comments, or creating playlists where available. Here are some details on about how to create your own YouTube channel. To protect your Google account, keep your password confidential. You should not reuse your Google account password on third-party applications. Learn about keeping your Google account secure, including what to do if you learn of any unauthorized use of your password or Google account. Your information. Our privacy policy explains how we treat your personal data and protect your privacy when you use the service. The YouTube Kids Privacy Notice provides additional information about our privacy practices that are specific to YouTube Kids. We will process any audio or audiovisual content uploaded to you by the service in accordance with the YouTube data processing terms, except in cases where you upload such content for personal purposes or household activities. Learn more. Permissions and restrictions. Here we go. Here's the fun part. You may access and use the service as made available to you, as long as you comply with this agreement and applicable law. You may view or listen to content for your own personal, non-commercial use. You may also show YouTube videos through the embeddable YouTube player. The following restrictions apply to your use of service. You are now allowed to access, reproduce, download, distribute, transmit, broadcast, display, sell, license, alter, modify, or otherwise use any part of the service or any content except A, as especially authorized by the service, or B, with prior written permission from YouTube and, if applicable, the respective rights holders. Circumvent, disable, fraudulently engage in, or otherwise interfere with any part of the service or attempt to do any of these things, including security-related features or features that A, prevent or restrict the copying or other use of content, or B, limit the use of the service or content. 3. Access the service by using any automated means, such as robots, botnets, or scrapers, except A, in the case of public search engines and coordinates to YouTube's robots.txt file, or B, with YouTube's prior written permission. Interesting. I wonder how AI applies to Article 3 of this list, actually. I wonder if AI is included, actually, because it is automated. That is actually a really interesting question. 4. Collect or harvest any information that might identify a person, for example, usernames or faces, unless permitted by that person or allowed under Section 3 above. Age verification, YouTube. Does this apply? 5. Use the service to distribute unsolicited promotional or commercial content or other unwanted or mass solicitations. Unsolicited promotional or commercial content or other unwanted or mass solicitations. And now question some of the ads that pop up on this service. Number 6. Cause or encourage any inaccurate measurements of genuine user engagement with the service, included by paying people or providing them with incentives to increase a video's views, likes, or dislikes, or to increase a channel's subscribers, or otherwise manipulate metrics in any manner. So, for example, by the way, YouTube, so that I'm not breaking this rule, I cannot say, please subscribe to my channel. Is that technically encouragement of inaccurate measurements of genuine user engagement? But the thing is, actually, I just realized I caught on to myself. I did not give you an incentive to subscribe. So wait, could a sentence be, please subscribe and I'll make more content like this? Is that technically an incentive? Because the incentive is, if you subscribe to this channel, I will continue making videos like this. Sorry, I may be like overlooking into a vague rule on YouTube, but I'm just asking legitimate questions regarding this. 7. Misuse any reporting, flagging, complaint, dispute, or appeals process, including by making groundless, vexatious, or frivolous submissions. Vexatious? Vexatious? What is this word? I've never seen this used before. Causing or tending to cause annoyance, frustration, or worry. Oh, so basically trolling. Ah, so it's the more academic way of saying trolling. Even though I think I've seen trolling on academic papers before. 8. Run contests on or through the service that do not comply with YouTube's contest policies and guidelines. I might make a video on that as well, because I've never seen the contest policies and guidelines. 9. Use the service to view or listen to content other than for personal, non-commercial use. For example, you may not publicly screen videos or stream music from the service. Or 10. Use the service to A. Sell any advertising, sponsorships, or promotions placed on, around, or within the service or content other than those allowed in the advertising on YouTube policies, such as compliant product placements. Or B. Sell advertising, sponsorships, or promotions on any page of any website or application that contains content from the service or where content from the service is the primary basis for such sales. For example, selling ads on a web page where YouTube videos are the main draw for users visiting the web page. Ah, okay. So if you have a lot of embedded YouTube videos on a separate web page, you should not be putting a lot of advertisements on the same web page for non-related stuff unless it's on YouTube. Well, YouTube putting up the ads. So wait, so embedded YouTube videos, once if you just download the MP4 and then put them on your website, like, technically I don't think that breaks the guidelines. However, I am not a legal professional and I'm just thinking on the fly, so do not take any word I say here as fact or try it out. For legal reasons, I say do not try out any sporadic thoughts I think in my head regarding these guidelines. I'm just thinking out loud while reading this. Reservation. Using the service does not give you ownership or rights to any aspect of the service, obviously, including usernames or any other content posted by others or YouTube. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Develop, improve, and update the service. YouTube is constantly changing and improving the service. As part of this continual evolution, we may make modifications or changes to all or part of the service, such as adding or removing features and functionalities, offering new digital contents or services, or discontinuing old ones. We may also need to alter or discontinue the service or any part of it in order to make performance or security improvements, make changes to comply with the law, or prevent illegal activities or abuse our systems, or abuse of our systems. These changes may affect all users, some users, or even an individual user. When the service requires or includes a downloadable software such as YouTube Studio application, that software may update automatically on your device once a new version or feature is available, subject to your device settings. Sorry, some massive reflux was coming in. Not related to these guidelines. If we make material changes that negatively impact your use of service, we will provide you with reasonable advance notice, except in urgent situations such as preventing abuse, responding to legal requirements, or addressing security or operability issues. We'll also provide you with an opportunity to export your content from your Google account using Google Takeout, subject to applicable law and policies. Google Takeout? Oh, this is where you can grab your data from. Got it. Yeah, this is where you can get your data from. Hopefully none of my data is on screen. Okay, no, these are examples of the data that we can get from Google. Okay, I thought my data was on the screen for a second. I'm like, oh shit. Hold on. Did I just reveal all my data? I did not. All right. Your content and conduct. This section applies to users who provide content to the service. It defines the scope of the permissions that you grant by uploading your content and includes your agreement not to upload anything that infringes on anyone else's rights. Alright, your content and conduct. Uploading content. If you have a YouTube channel, you may be able to upload content to the service. You may use your content to promote your business or artistic enterprise. If you choose to upload content, you must not submit to the service or any content that does not apply with this agreement, including the YouTube community guidelines or the law. For example, the content you submit must not include third-party intellectual property such as copyrighted material unless you have permission from that party or are otherwise legally entitled to do so. You are legally responsible for the content you submit to the service. We may use automated systems that analyze your content to help detect infringement and abuse, such as spam, malware, and illegal content. Rights you grant. Retain ownership rights in your content. However, we do require you to grant certain rights to YouTube and other users of the service as described below. License to YouTube. By providing content to the service, you grant to YouTube a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free, sub-licensable, and transferable license to use that content, including to reproduce, distribute, prepare derivative works, display, and perform it, in connection with the service and YouTube and its successors and affiliates' business, including for the purpose of promoting and redistributing part of all the service. License to other users. You also grant each user of the service a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free license to access your content through the service and use that content, including to reproduce, distribute, prepare derivative works, display, and performance, only as enabled by a feature of the service, such as video playback or embeds. For clarity, this license does not grant any rights or permissions for a user to make use of your content independent of the service. Okay. Duration of the license. The license is granted by you to continue for a commercially reasonable period of time after you remove or delete your content from the service. You understand and agree, however, that YouTube may retain but not display, distribute, or perform several copies of your videos that have been removed or deleted. Right to monetize. You grant YouTube the right to monetize your content on the service, and such monetization may include displaying ads on or with it or charging users a fee for access. This agreement does not entitle you to any payments. Starting on November 18, 2020, any payments you may be entitled to receive from YouTube or any other agreement between you and YouTube, including, for example, payments under the YouTube Partner Program, channel memberships, or Super Chat, will be treated as royalties. If required by law, Google will withhold taxes from such payments. Removing your content. You may remove your content from the service at any time. You also have the option to make a copy of your content before removing it. You must remove your content if you no longer have the rights required by these terms. Removal of content by YouTube. If any of your content, 1, is in breach of this agreement, or 2, may cause harm to YouTube, our users, or third parties reserve the right to remove or take down some or all such content at our discretion. We notify you with the reason for our action unless we reasonably believe that to do so, A, would breach the law or the direction of legal enforcement authority or otherwise risk legal liability for YouTube or our affiliates, B, would compromise an investigation or the integrity or operation of the service, or C, would cause harm to any users, other third-party YouTube, or our affiliates. You can help learn more about reporting and enforcement, including how to appeal on the troubleshooting page of our help center. Nice. Alright. Is that part of content conduct? Community guideline strikes. Oh. I guess that's part of your content and conduct, actually. Huh. Community guideline strikes. YouTube operates a system of strikes in respect of content that violates the YouTube community guidelines. Each strike comes with varying restrictions and may result in the permanent removal of your channel from YouTube. A full description of how a strike affects your channel is available on the Community Guidelines Strikes page. Basics page. If you believe that a strike has been issued in error, you may appeal here. If your channel has been restricted due to a strike, you must not use another channel to circumvent these restrictions. Pretty obvious, actually. Violation of this prohibition is a material breach of this agreement, and Google reserves the right to terminate your Google account or your access to all or part of the service. Copyright protection. We provide information to help copyright holders manage their intellectual property online or in our YouTube Copyright Center. If you believe your copyright has been infringed on the service, please send us a notice. We respond to notices of alleged copyright infringement according to the process in our YouTube Copyright Center, where you can also find information about how to resolve a copyright strike. YouTube's policies can provide for the termination, in appropriate circumstances, of repeat infringers' access to the service. Alright. And now we are on account suspension and termination. This section explains how you and YouTube may terminate this relationship. Alright. Account suspension and termination. Terminations by you. You may stop using the service at any time. Follow these instructions to delete the service from your Google account, which involves closing your YouTube channel or removing your data. You can also have the option to download a copy of your data first. Terminations and suspensions by YouTube. YouTube reserves the right to suspend or terminate your Google account or your access to all or part of the service if A, you materially or repeatedly breach this agreement, B, we are required to do so to comply with a legal agreement or a court order, or C, we reasonably believe that there has been conduct that creates or could create liability or harm to any user, other third-party YouTube, or our affiliates. Notice for termination or suspension. We will notify you with the reason for termination or suspension by YouTube unless we reasonably believe that to do so, A, would violate the law or direction of a legal enforcement authority, B, would compromise an investigation, C, would compromise the integrity, operation, or security of the service, or D, would cause any harm to any user, other third-party YouTube, or our affiliates. Effective account suspension or termination. If your Google account is terminated or your access to the service is restricted, you may continue using certain aspects of the service, such as viewing only, without an account, and this agreement will continue to apply to such use. If you believe that the termination or suspension has been made in error, you can appeal using this form. Alright. About software and the service. This section includes details about software on the service. Alright. Downloadable software. When the service requires or includes downloadable software, such as the YouTube Studio application, unless that software is governed by additional terms which provide a license, YouTube gives you a personal, worldwide, royalty-free, non-assignable, and non-exclusive license to use the software provided to you by YouTube as part of our services. This license is for the sole purpose of enabling you to use and enjoy the benefit of the service as provided by YouTube, in the matter permitted by this agreement. You are not allowed to copy, modify, distribute, sell, or lease any part of the software, or to reverse engineer or attempt to extract the source code of that software, unless laws prohibit these restrictions or you have YouTube's written permission. Open source. Some software used in our service may be offered under an open source license that we make available to you. There may be provisions in open source license that expressly override some of these terms, so please be sure to read those licenses. Alright, the next part's in all caps. Other legal terms. This section includes our service commitment to you. It also explains that there are some things we will not be responsible for. And as this is in all caps, I'm going to read it as if it's in all caps. Warranty disclaimer. Other than expressly stated in this agreement or as required by law, the service is provided as is, and YouTube does not take any specific commitments or warranties about the service. For example, we won't make any warranties about A, the content provided through the service, B, the specific features of the service, or its accuracy, reliability, availability, or ability to meet your needs, or C, that any content you submit will be accessible on the service. Limitation of liability. Except as required by applicable law, YouTube and affiliates, officers, directors, employees, and agents will not be responsible for any loss of profits, revenues, business opportunities, goodwill, or anticipated savings. Loss or corruption of data, indirect or consequential costs, punitive damages caused by 1. Errors, mistakes, or inaccuracies on the service. 2. Personal injury or property damage resulting from your use of the service. 3. Any authorized access to or use of the service. 4. Any interruption or cessation of the service. 5. Any viruses or malicious code transmitted to or through the service by any third party. 6. Any content whether submitted by a user or YouTube, including your use of content and or 7. The removal or unavailability of any content. This provision applies to any claim, regardless of whether the claim is asserted is based on warranty, contract, tort, or any other legal territory. YouTube and its affiliates' total liability for any claims arising from or related to the service is limited to the greater of A, the amount of revenue that YouTube has paid to you from your use of service in the 12 months before the date of your notice in writing of YouTube of the claim, and B, USD $500. Indemnity. To the extent permitted by applicable law, you agree to defend, identify, and hold harmless YouTube, its affiliates, officers, directors, employees of agents from and against any and all claims, damages, obligations, losses, liabilities, costs or debts, and expenses, including but not limited to attorney's fees, arising from 1. Your use of and access to the service. 2. Your violations of any term of this agreement. 3. Your violation of any third-party rights, including without limitation any copyright, property, or privacy right. Or 4. Any claim that your content caused damage to a third party. This defense and indemnification obligation will survive this agreement in your use of the service. Third-party links. The service may contain links to third-party websites and online services that are not owned or controlled by YouTube. YouTube has no control over and assumes no responsibility for such websites and online services. Be aware when you leave the service. We suggest that you read the terms and privacy policy of each third-party website and online service that you visit. About this agreement. This section includes some further important details about our contract, including what to expect if we need to make changes to these terms, or which law applies to them. By the way, this is dated on December 15, 2023. Yep. December 15, 2023. I just thought to notice that. I just thought to note that. I just noticed that as well. Alright. Changing this agreement. We may change this agreement, for example, 1, to reflect changes to our service or how we do business, for example, when we add new products or features or remove old ones, 2, for legal, regulatory, or security reasons, or 3, to prevent abuse or harm. If we materially change this agreement, we will provide you with a reasonable advance notice and the opportunity to review the changes, except 1, when we launch a new product or feature, or 2, in urgent situations such as preventing ongoing abuse or responding to legal requirements. If you don't agree to the new terms, you should remove any content you uploaded and stop using the service. Continuation of this agreement. If your use of the service ends, the following terms of this agreement will continue to apply to you. Other legal terms about this agreement and the licenses granted by you will continue as described under duration of license. Severance. If it turns out that any particular term of this agreement is not enforceable for any reason, this will not affect any other terms. No waiver. If you fail to comply with this agreement and we do not take immediate action, this does not mean that we are giving up any rights that we may have, such as the right to take action in the future. Interpretation. In these terms, include or including means including but not limited to. Any examples we give are for illustrative purposes. Governing law. All claims arising out of or relating to these terms of services will be governed by California law, except California's conflict of laws rules, and will be litigated exclusively in the federal or state courts of Santa Clara County, California, USA. You and YouTube consent to personal jurisdiction in those courts. Limitation on legal action. You and YouTube must agree that any cause of action arising out of or related to the services must commence within one year after the cause of action occurs. Otherwise, such cause of action is permanently barred. Effective as of December 15, 2023. When was the previous version made? What was the previous version? 2022. So they have not updated their terms of service since 2023. Interesting. We are getting up to the end of 2025, and with the rise of AI content, as well as recent laws around the world, I wonder if YouTube is going to slightly adjust its terms of service with these in light. But for now, I'm going to be ending today's video with what did you think of the YouTube terms of service? Do you have any questions? If so, you might have to talk with Google about that one, because I don't know if it goes against their terms of services if we have questions about the terms of service, because that technically implies that we did not understand the terms of service. So technically we were not supposed to make an account after we click the check mark of yes, I agree to the terms of service. So if you have any inquiries about the terms of service afterwards, saying I fully understand, but I have a question about this, please send them down in the comments below. And if you have any more terms of service that you would like for me to read, please let me know. I read these in my head all the time, but I never really, read them out loud. I understand YouTube's rules and guidelines since I've read this before. However, yeah, reading them out loud just gets me thinking a little bit more. So if there's any more things like terms of services for other websites you want me to read, please let me know. I do, read through them whenever I open a new app, because there's some apps where I will never get because I disagree with their terms of service. However, most apps that I do have, yeah, I read through the terms of service, which is actually surprising to say. I'm not even lying. I am that weirdo that will read the terms of service before I get a subscription to anything. So, yeah, if there's any terms of services you want for me to read in the future so that you have a better understanding of them before you accept any terms of services for any other applications in the future, please let me know. And I might be making another video about these other categories, such as paid terms of service, paid service usage rules, collecting society notices, copyright notices, and community guidelines. I do want to, check out that sort of stuff as well on the YouTube terms of service page, so I'm definitely going to be making a few follow-up videos to this post. But for today, since it's been about 30 minutes and my voice is dying from all the legal reading, I'm going to be ending off today's video right here. Thank you all for watching, and that was a really, that video was actually enjoyable to make. I'm going to make more of these. That was actually kind of fun.
Okay.